Hey everybody, it's Arcanate here. Today we're going to take a look into the story behind one of my favourite places, the Icecrown Citadel. Before Arthas took up his seat on the frozen throne, Ner'zhul existed as the current Lich King. To escape his dying planet of Draenor, or Outland, and to escape the clutches of Khadgar and his alliance, Ner'zhul had created portals to a so-called promised land rich with resources where he could start again, as Outland, or Draenor, was dying. He entered the portal, however it did not take him to a new beautiful planet to conquer. It took him into a dimension where he was confronted by the demon lord of the Burning Legion, Kil'jaeden. Pieces of flesh were torn from his still living body and he screamed in agony as death surrounded him. He was being punished for disobeying Kil'jaeden. He was taken and tortured by Kil'jaeden, and Kil'jaeden destroyed Ner'zhul's body but kept his spirit alive. Ner'zhul agreed to enter the service of the demon once more, and his spirit was bound to the helm of domination, being trapped inside the frozen throne. His power expanded exponentially, and thus the Lich King was born. Kil'jaeden threw the Lich King back into the mortal world, and his icy prison slammed into the glaciers of Icecrown in Northrend, creating a massive explosion that caused a part of the glacier to be blown away, leaving a gigantic spire of ice, which is where the Frozen Throne is now located. As written in the Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos manual, Ner'zhul's spirit was placed within a specially crafted block of diamond hard ice gathered from the far reaches of the twisting nether. Encased within the frozen cask, Ner'zhul felt his consciousness expand 10,000-fold. Warped by the demon's chaotic powers, Ner'zhul became a spectral being of unfathomable power. At that moment, the orc known as Ner'zhul was shattered forever and the Lich King was born. When Kil'jaeden cast Ner'zhul's icy cask back into the world of Azeroth, the hardened crystal streaked across the night sky and smashed into the desolate Arctic continent of Northrend, burying itself deep within the Icecrown Glacier. The frozen crystal, warped and scarred by its violent descent, became to resemble a throne, and Ner'zhul's vengeful spirit soon stirred within it. From the confines of the frozen throne, Ner'zhul began to reach out his vast consciousness and touch the minds of Northrend's native inhabitants. Located in the frozen wastes of Icecrown in Northrend, the Citadel itself was built around the frozen throne. At the end of the War of the Frozen Throne, Arthas climbed the spire and merged with Ner'zhul to become a new Lich King. He sat in the Frozen Throne, and while he slept, Icecrown Citadel was built around the spire.
Forget this business. Lead your men home. You lost your mind, Arthas. I must consider this an act of You lied to your men and betrayed the mercenaries who fought for you. What's happening to you, Arthas? Some prince will find only death in the cold. Return.
Argent Crusaders! The hour of justice has come!
Standing this close to the blade that ended my life, and the pain, it is renewed. I dare not touch it. Stand back! Stand back! As I attempt to commune with the blade. Perhaps our salvation lies within.
Careful, girl. I've heard talk of that cursed blade saving us before. Look around you, and see what has been born of Frostmourne.
Uther! Uther the Lightbringer! How?
You haven't much time. The Lich King sees what the sword sees. He will be here shortly.
The Lich King is here? Then my destiny shall be fulfilled on this day.
You cannot defeat the Lich King. Not here. You would be a fool to try. He will kill those that follow you and raise them as powerful soldiers of the Scourge. But for you, Sylvanas, his reward for you would be worse than the last.
There must be a way.
Perhaps. But know this. There must always be a Lich King. Even if you were to strike down Arthas, another would have to take his place. For without the control of the Lich King, the Scourge would wash over the world like locusts, destroying all that they touched.
Who could bear such a burden?
I do not know, Banshee Queen. I suspect that the piece of Arthas that might be left inside the Lich King is all that holds the Scourge from annihilating Azeroth. Alas, the only way to defeat the Lich King is to destroy him at the place where he was created.
The Frozen Throne.
Aye. He is coming. You silence, Paladin. So, you wish to commune with the dead. You shall have your wish.
Can you feel it, my son? Closing in all around you. The light's justice has been awakened. The sins of the past have finally caught up to you. You will be called to account for all the atrocities you've committed. The unspeakable horrors you've let loose upon this world. And the dark, ancient powers you've enslaved. Though my soul was one of the first to be devoured by your evil, there are thousands more bound within this blade, and they cry out for release. Look now to your defenses, my son, for the champions of justice gather at your gates.
Now it's time to head into Icecrown Citadel with the Argent Crusade and Tyrion Forging.
Regardless of outcome, they will know that we fought with honor. That we fought for the freedom and safety of our people. Remember, heroes, fear is your greatest enemy in these befouled halls. Steel your heart, and your soul will shine brighter than 1,000 suns. The enemy will falter at the sight of you. They will fall as the light of righteousness envelops them. Our march upon Icecrown Citadel begins now!
You now stand upon the hallowed ground of the Scourge. The light won't protect you here, Paladin. Nothing will protect you.
Arthas! I swore that I would see you dead and the Scourge dismantled. I'm going to finish what I started at Light's Hope.
You could have been my greatest champion, Vordring. A force of darkness that would wash over this world and deliver it into a new age of strife. But that honor is no longer yours. Soon, I will have a new champion. The breaking of this one has been taxing. The atrocities I have committed upon his soul. He has resisted for so long, but he will bow down before his king soon.
Never! I will never serve you!
In the end, you will all serve me.
Our first encounter is Lord Moraga. The bones that make up his body are of 1,000 vanquished adventurers. He is the guardian of the Frozen Throne and wields the power of the throne itself.
The Scourge will watch over this world as a swarm of death and destruction. Darkness.
Lady Death Whisper is the supreme overseer of the Cult of the Damned, an organization of living beings who serve the Lich King.
What is this disturbance? You dare trespass upon this hallowed ground? This shall be your final resting place! I see I must take matters into my own hands! Plan! Your end is inevitable!
The Gunship Battle is a battle between the Alliance gunship Skybreaker and the Horde gunship Orgrim's Hammer.
Corkron, move out!
To victory.
Champions, watch your backs! The Scourge have been caught!
Me, Father. Join me and we'll crush this world in the name of the Scourge. For the glory of the Lich King.
My boy died at the Wrathgate. I am here only to collect his body.
Stubborn and old, what chance do you have? I am stronger and more powerful than you ever were.
We named him Dranosh. It means Heart of Draenor in Orcish. I would not let the warlocks take him. My boy would be safe, hidden away by the elders of Garadar. I made a promise to his mother before she died, that I would cross the dark portal alone. Whether I lived or died, my son would be safe, untainted. Today, I fulfill that promise.
Pathetic old orc. Come there, you.
Before he was converted to a Death Knight by the Lich King, Deathbringer Saurfang was known as Dranosh Saurfang. He was the son of Varrock Saurfang, who was part of our brigade. Dranosh fell to Frostmourne during the Battle of Angrathar, the Wrathgate. He was raised in undeath by the Lich King and brought to the Icecrown Citadel.
You will have a proper ceremony in Nagrand, next to the pyres of your mother and ancestors.
There isn't much to be said about Rotface and Festiga. However, Professor Putricide is the mastermind behind the creation of all forms of scourge, ooze, plague, blight, and death delivery.
Bad news, everyone. I don't think I'm going to make it.
Foolish mortals. You thought us defeated so easily. The Sand Lane are the Lich King's immortal soldiers. Now, you shall face their might combined. Rise up, brothers, and destroy our enemies!
The Blood Prince Council is made up of the Dark Fallen Princes Kaliseth, Falanar, and Taldaram. During our adventures through Northrend, we encounter these fellows and kill them. Kaliseth was in Utgard Keep, Falanar at Naxanar in Borean Tundra, and Taldaram in Ankerhet, the Old Kingdom. Their bodies were brought back to Icecrown Citadel to be in the service of the Lich King. Blood Queen Lana'thel is the leader of the Sand Lane, a faction of Dark Fallen led by a host of vampiric Blood Elf princes. The Dark Fallen are also known as the Vampire. They're a unique kind of blood elf raised as undead. After Arthas tainted the Sunwell, Blood Queen Lana'thel was one of the blood elves that followed Kalthas into Northrend in pursuit of Arthas. Lana'thel was the one that recovered Thalorian Dawnseeker's famous weapon Quel'Dalar from his dying place at the Dead Scar in the frozen north. She was slain by the Scourge and raised into the Lich King's service as a leader of undead armies and other Sand Lane.
We were all getting along. So...
Valeithria Dreamwalker is a captured dragon from the Green Dragonflight. She was likely used in attempts to reproduce forms of the Emerald Nightmare's effects.
The icy winds of Northrend will consume your soul!
In life, Sindragosa was the consort or partner of the great dragon Malagos, also known as the Spellweaver and guardian of all arcane magic. Sindragosa was tragically killed by Neltharion, who would come to be known as Deathwing, back during the War of the Ancients. Part of this story is covered in this video here, but I most definitely will be covering the dragon aspects in greater detail in a future video as I absolutely love their stories. Sindragosa died in the cold wastes of Icecrown and was later raised by the Lich King to become a mighty Frostworm Queen. The Lich King has a story that is far too large to fit into this video and will be investigated in a future video or series of videos as his story is massive. But upon Arthas' death, Bolvar Fordragon takes up the helm of domination to become the Lich King himself.
So, the light's vaunted justice has finally arrived. Shall I lay down Frostborn and throw myself at your mercy, Fordring?
We'll grant you a swift death, Arthas. More than can be said for the thousands you've tortured and slain.
You'll learn of that firsthand. When my work is complete, you will beg for mercy, and I will deny you. Your anguished cries will be testament to my unbridled power.
So be it. Champions, attack!
Is an icy husk. No questions remain unanswered. No doubts linger. You are Azeroth's greatest champions. You overcame every challenge I laid before you. My mightiest servants have fallen before your relentless onslaught. Your unbridled fury. Is it truly righteousness that drives you? I wonder. You trained them well, Fordring. You delivered the greatest fighting force this world has ever known. Right into my hands, exactly as I intended. You shall be rewarded for your unwitting sacrifice. Watch now, as I raise them from the dead to become masters of the Scourge. They will shroud this world in chaos and destruction. Azeroth's fall will come at their hands, and you will be the first to die. I delight in the irony.
Light, grant me one final blessing. Give me the strength to shatter these bonds. No more lives will be consumed by your hatred!
Father! Is it over? At long last. No king rules forever, my son. I see. Only darkness before me. Without its master's command, the restless scourge will become an even greater threat to this world. Control must be maintained. There must always be a Lich King.
The weight of such a burden. It must be mine, for there is no other.
Tyrion! You hold a grim destiny in your hands, brother. But it is not your own.
Volva! By all that is holy.
The dragon's flame seal my fate. The world of the living can no longer comfort me. Place the crown upon my head, Tyrion. Forevermore, I will be the jailer of the damned.
No, old friend. I cannot.
Do it, Tyrion! You and these brave heroes have your own destinies to fulfill. This last act of service is mine. I must be forgotten, Tyrion. If the world is to live free from the tyranny of fear, they must never know what was done here today. Tell them only that the Lich King is dead, and that Bolvar Dragon died with him. Now, go. Leave this place, and never return.
Ah man, I miss the old days. So much nostalgia running through the Icecrown Citadel. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any ideas for a lore video you'd like to see, make sure to leave me a comment below. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Arcane, and I'll catch you next time. Destroying civilizations and tearing their world apart, being caused by the Highborn messing around with the Whale's magics, it is at this point, seeing his brother create a new well of eternity, that Malfurion decides he needs to deal with his power-crazed brother once and for all. With Cenarius' help, Malfurion imprisoned Illidan within a vast underground barrow.